Good morning. How many techs we have here? Right. How many salespeople do we have here? How many people that are both? All right, okay. As Kelly said, I'm Rick Warner. I'm the Vice President General Manager for E-Corp in North America. Winston is, I like to call him the guru. So he doesn't like being called the guru, but he is the guru. So he'll do a little more techie presentation here. One of the things that in sales is that whenever you hear something, a phrase that is really good and profound, you steal it and call it your own. Okay? I stole this from Winston and call it my own. We really are a tech company that just happens to make heating and air products. And if you got to get that mindset on that, is we are not a regular HVAC manufacturer. We are a tech company. We just happen to make heating and air products. Okay? So we'll get started. Interesting partnership. Kelly mentioned Lewis is our president, founder, started it, developed it. He's been in the inverter industry forever. A lot of this inverter technology that you see in the U.S. now is because of Winston. Because of Winston too, but because of Lewis. Lewis brought that technology to the United States. He worked with Carrier, bringing some of their stuff in. He worked for Lennox. I was with Lennox for 17 years. Know you service experts guys quite a bit. But he was really instrumental in bringing that to it. He helped design some of the stuff that you see out there right now with low skews, low temperature, cold climate heat pumps. He was instrumental in some of that, but what he did is when he saw what was going on with that, he partnered with somebody else. He had some other ideas that made sense in the marketplace, kind of a futuristic thinker. He joined forces with a company called In-Hand Networks. So if you're driving from here you pass Buc-ee's and you're driving to San Antonio or something like that, and you see a rest stop, and you pull off, and there's out in the middle of absolutely nowhere, there's a Coke machine there, right? Well, that Coke machine takes a credit card. There's no Wi-Fi out there. How's that work? How on earth can that work? Well, what that is, if you take a look at the Coke machine, there's a little antenna on top of it. And that's a cellular-based communication device. You put your credit card in there, the data goes up to the cloud, accessed by the bank, and you get a Coke. Okay? Comes out. That technology was developed by In-Hand Networks, pioneer in that technology. They are a global leader in the industrial IoT. That partnership really created the E-Core and what we do. By the way, it's pronounced E-Core. My first meeting, as I've been with the company almost 2 years now, my first meeting with the team was we had to sit there and figure out how you pronounce the name first. Some people are friendly, some people are friendlier. We're Eco-er, okay? A little easier way to do it. All right. We sales across the U.S. We work through rep agencies. We have warehouses in Southern California, Dallas, and Connecticut. We've actually grown enough in Connecticut that we have 2 warehouses there now. That was our first market that we took off in, and it's growing very well. We have tech support in Miami, where Winston lives. He runs the tech support side there. We also have warehouse for parts there, and we have a business office in Fairfax, Virginia. This big building right here we've got a little tiny office right there. So just a little tiny, that's where we get mail. I live in Idaho. We have people in Tennessee. We have people in Virginia. We're kind of a virtual company. Okay. We started out in the Northeast just because simply we had a rep that really adopted it early and took off with it. We also got some pretty good rebates up there too. $1,250 a ton rebates for cold climate heat pumps. So if you take a look at some of the suppliers we've been selling to, or the distributors we've been selling to, Johnstone Supply, Economy's big up there. That's Johnstone Supply. We've got several throughout the country right now, including right here. The Portland Group's big in Massachusetts. FW Webb is a very large. They have 80 locations. They took on the line. And you see some Pennsylvania companies. Wind Supply has been pretty big in the East Coast. Yeah, one right there, the Johnstone. Yeah, exactly. And that is our distributor for this market. Okay. We don't like to saturate a market with distributors. Okay, so I came on board. Obviously, if I didn't know how to pronounce the name, the average homeowner certainly didn't know how to pronounce the name, never heard of it. The average contractor never heard of it. Average distributor never heard of it. So the first thing we needed to do is build the brand. We know that we are not going to build the brand so that if you say to a customer, what's, a homeowner, what's an E-Corp unit, they're, if you say what's a Lennox unit, a Trane unit, or a Carrier unit, they're going to know what that is. It takes millions and millions and millions of dollars to get that brand name recognition. Okay, but at the kitchen table, this goes back to my Lennox days, service experts training. The kitchen table is where everything happens, right? That's where the sale takes place. Okay, at the kitchen table, if you can present some differentiation on a product with a homeowner, show them the features and benefits, show them how it's a good buying decision, then that's how you win the sale. So what we did is the first thing we need to do is substantiate the product. So we went out and applied for the Dealer Design Award, HVAC News. I'm sure you've all seen the HVAC News in your career. We applied for the design in heating and air, and lo and behold, we got third place. First place was the Carrier Greenspeed, and the second place was the Lennox XL16. We came in third. I'm okay with that company. I'm okay being third with that company there. Then we also applied for Innovation Award. We won it in 2021 this year in the heating category. We were the only, in any of the categories, we were the only product that was a unitary product. Everything else was made like valves and stuff like that, parts, pieces. We were the only unitary product that received an award. We were a finalist. What you do in each category, you have a winner and a finalist. So it's second place. First place was some heating valve of some kind, some hydronic heating valve. So we substantiated ourselves with some awards. Okay? So now that we've kind of we know what product we have, we've got some selling stories. How do we apply that to the real world? So I'm going to go back to a prior life that I had that I was involved in some focus groups studies on replacement dealer challenges. Okay? Those dealers, those contractors that are out there trying to make a sale at the kitchen table. What are their challenges? So this was a focus study done. I think it was 2017, 2018. Not much has changed. First challenge they have, this certainly hasn't changed, labor. Yeah. Quantity of installing contractors, technicians, and so forth. That's very, very important, they can't find enough workers. Next thing is quality. Of the workers they find, you got to start them out in a training process that takes years and years and years and years, right? So it's how do you build a business when you have a shortage of people and those people that you have hired don't have the highest capacity of technical ability yet, just haven't gotten there yet. So those are one of the challenges in labor. Next, challenges in sales. Closing percentage. How do you get the closing rate up? I'm sure that if you're in sales, you've heard the bosses talking about closing ratio. Also, gross margin or average ticket. So what are the KPIs in some of your contractors' businesses? Okay, average ticket, closing. Okay? They also want to create residual revenue. And why does your boss want to create residual revenue? That's the only thing that builds value to your company, to that company. You can have new construction companies don't have a lot of value because those contracts can go away in a heartbeat. But if you have residual revenue coming in, and how do you get residual revenue? Preventive maintenance contracts. Right? That's why your contractors, your bosses are always trying to push for preventative maintenance contracts. So beyond, if you were to do that study now, the other challenge would be inventory, right? That's sometimes a warehouse that's out there right now, just no inventory in the marketplace. So it just so happens that Lewis understood those challenges early on. The inventory challenge is new, that because of where he lives and the people he's involved with, he was able to do some pretty cool stuff on inventory for this year for availability. But on the other side of it is that the development of the product was not just so we could have some cool bells and whistles on the unit. It was specifically designed to address some of the issues that we have here. So in the palm of your hand, with this unit, which you're going to see Winston talk about, which you can see me talk about is, at a 30,000 foot level, is that labor being the number one issue, our system allows, you can take a technician that maybe isn't at the top of his game yet, can still go in and start up a system and get it running in optimal conditions at any time. Closing ratio, that's another issue that was on our focus group. Differentiation. How do you close more sales? You have to have differentiation. Okay. There is nobody else that has our stuff, so we've got the highest level of differentiation anybody out there. Okay. You'll see what we'll talk about when Winston gets into this. Availability, we happen to have product, and we happen to have it in distribution. So Johnstone is our wagon here. That Kelly's hooked up with, and it's done a very good job. Okay. One of the things that I think that you'll see in the advantages is we have low SKUs. We're not the only that we're not unique to that anymore. We were one of the first ones. There's a couple of them. 2 outdoor units, 1.5 to 3, 3.5 to 5. Okay, those. And there's some mixed matches you can do with those, but really, if you're doing heat pumps only, you'd have 6 SKUs, 7 with the controls, 8 with a thermostat. Okay, if you're doing connected to a furnace, you've got another 5 coils on top of that. That's it. That's all the SKUs we got. Okay, so it's very low SKU. You don't have to stock up in your warehouse a lot. Now, I'm going to go back to differentiation just a tiny bit, and there's a reason for that. Yes, we have product. Yes, that's opening the doors. Yes, that's giving you a product to sell when you're at the kitchen table. When you're diagnosing a system, the system's down, and you need to tell the homeowner, I'm sorry, you need a new product, a new system in there. Yes, we have it. But what I'm going to talk to you here a little bit about is that some point, someday, probably 2023, that these issues of availability are going to go away. So what do you do then? Does your boss say, hey, 2023, that's okay. We had a good year in 2022 because we had the product, but your sales number is going to go down in 2023 because I understand. That's not going to happen. They're still going to want a higher sales in 2023. How do you get that? You've got to get that differentiation with your company to build that reputation for differentiation. We'll talk about that just a little bit. Okay? Uniqueness in our, this is as techie as I'm going to get. This is really output. Uniqueness in the cold climate heat pump. If you take a look at this, I got a button right here. Oh, look at there. Here's a Carrier Infinity. This is their extended heating performance. They actually go up a little bit. This is a 3-ton system. They go up a little bit and they drop down. At this point right here, at minus 13 degrees, they shut off. Okay? The Train XV20, that too is an inverter. Okay? They shut off. The Bosch, this is 1.0, they shut off. Our unit keeps on going. So our heating capacity at low temperature just keeps on going. You can see that this is minus 21. On a 3-ton system, we're still putting out 24,000 BTUs-ish. Yeah. This is not your grandfather's heat pump, right? The old heat pumps, when it got 40 degrees, you were bringing on strip heat. Look at there. Here's 7 degrees right here. It's actually 5 degrees that we're still running 100% capacity. 100% capacity at a temperature that this market probably doesn't see very often. Okay? Yeah, it goes in defrost and you have to bring on strip heats. Yeah, we get that. But in reality, we're still running. Right? Now, you're going to see this picture every once in a while. This is Lewis and the engineering team. This didn't happen by itself. This didn't say they threw a bunch of product together and say, well, gee, it heats well too. This was by design. So whenever you see Lewis' little picture there, it's my little tribute to Lewis to thank you for the design that we've done there. Okay, cooling performance. we are here in the blue. It's not a huge story, but it's still a story. I mean, look at the Bosch here where they drop off. Again, a 3-ton system at 115 degrees. They're at 26-ish. We're still at about 32.5, right around there. Okay, so a little bit better on the extended. But while it doesn't look like there's a big, huge gap like on the last slide, but take a look at that. I mean, you're going from, you know, that's 15% better, probably, than anybody else. Some others. So that's a big deal. Thank you, Lewis. Okay. Now, ratings, very, very important. Okay. This is this eye chart is really what is some of our selling story. Whoops. Sorry. Right here is this is our outdoor unit. So that is our 2 and 3 ton unit, 2 and 3 ton unit, 4 and 5 ton unit. These right here are 4 or 5 ton unit. But let's take a look at something. This 2 and 3 ton unit with a 2 ton air handler is giving you 20 SEER. Okay. Okay. If you take a look at the 3 ton, you get an 18 SEER on a 3 ton. But take a look at this right here. This is a 4 or 5 ton unit with our 3 ton unit. You're getting 20 SEER. How on earth can that happen? I was always taught that when you had if you wanted to increase in SEER, you went larger in coil. I remember back when they were first starting efficiency increases, and you had a furnace that was 48 inches tall back then, and when you wanted to go to a higher SEER, the coil was 48 inches tall too. I mean, it was a massive coil. With inverter, you don't need to do that. You can actually pull it down. So we have our 4 or 5 ton unit. Here, you can see the 20 SEER. We go down, here's our 17 right here, is pretty standard. Right here, I want to show you something. This is the furnace model number, right? There's no furnaces here. So we've taken a 3 ton or a 4 ton, put it on anybody else's furnace, including the existing furnace, an existing furnace in there, and we still have 16 SEER. Right? But we get penalized because when we do our ratings, because no one knows what that furnace is. It could be a 40-year-old, you know, Williams furnace or something like that. But all we know is that when you put the outdoor unit with our coil, our rated coil, you're still going to get 16 SEER. Okay. The other side of it is this is our entire AHRI rating chart. I don't know if anybody's ever looked at other brands what their rating chart is. That can be 17 pages long. Okay. This is our entire chart. Okay. So I mean, this is a big story. This is different. This is different than the rest of the world has been. Okay. This came out smaller than it was supposed to be, but HVAC Hero. If you spend any time on LinkedIn, and some other social medias, you may, if you follow E-Corp, by the way, it's okay to follow E-Corp on LinkedIn. We like that. HVAC Hero is a strategy or a moniker that we have developed. It's specifically designed for differentiation at the kitchen table. It creates that value proposition. It creates the differentiation, and we'll go through and explain what HVAC Hero is. So basically, it is a way to provide peace of mind for the homeowner's buying decision and long-term relationship. So, the gateway right here is on the outside of the unit. It's mounted on the outside of the unit. Winston's going to go over quite a bit of the technical side of that. But this is, when you put the gateway on the system, out of the box, you're getting 10 years parts on a certified dealer. 10 years of parts. This is a cell-based, cellular-based, I'm just breezing over this because we're going to get more in depth in this. This is a cellular-based box that sits on the outside of the unit. The unit itself is sending data into a circuit board. The circuit board is sending data to the gateway is sending data to the cloud. The cloud is accessed by the app and our tech support center app. Okay, so that's all being communicated. You'll see what that does in a second. But when you do that, that's a monitored system. There's a cost to that monitoring. But when you purchase the system, you get 10 years of parts, 3 years of monitoring, and 3 years of labor. Comes with the system out of the box. No extra charge. No additional charge. Yep. Now, how could we do that? How on earth can we offer that? So we took the data to a third-party labor warranty company. And we said, look, we know absolutely every system that is out there that has a gateway on it. We know what that system has done from the moment it was started up. We know and the insurance people love actuaries. We know how many failed. We know why they failed. We're notified. Our dealers are notified. Our tech support's notified. We can go back and we can take a look at any particular unit at any time and tell you what that unit did, what was wrong. And we also know that if the contractor followed the app, it was installed perfectly. It was running at optimum conditions. They said, well, geez, that took all of our guesswork out of it. So they were able to give us a very nice labor rate for warranty. I was able to put that onto the system. Okay? It's a good labor rate too, $90 an hour for service, $75 trip charge. We even pay $35 for the person ordering the parts to do so. Okay? That is out of the box. Residual value, okay? That monitoring system, you can tell your customer, you're tied to us, we're tied to you, that's residual value, we're gonna keep on being your customer, you're gonna keep on being our customer. So, for $5.99, oh wait, there's more. For $5.99, you get 10 years of parts, 10 years of monitoring, and 10 years of labor. So at the kitchen table, you're looking for peace of mind. I've never heard of an E-Corp. Well, let me tell you about it. Number one, it's got the highest, very, very high efficiency. The price point is good. But we got peace of mind because anything goes wrong with that, number one, I as the installing contractor are going to be notified that there's something wrong with it. If there's something that needs to be done to be tweaked, I can do it. And Winston's going to talk about that. I'll talk about a little bit. Some tweaking needs to be done remotely. That's fine. But you don't have to worry about it. You're covered for 10 years. Parts, monitoring, and labor. Okay? That's for $5.99. I published that price. That price has not gone up with all the price changes and everything else. That is peace of mind. That makes the installing contractor an HVAC hero in the minds of the consumer. Okay? We've done the studies on, we've done some marketing on that HVAC Hero. It works pretty well. So I want to delve just slightly into the gateway before we turn it over to Winston, because it's important on the sales side of it. It's important for that peace of mind for the homeowner. So what do all these things have in common here? You got a kiosk for ordering stuff at McDonald's. You've got Carvana. You can actually order a car online, right? What do all those things have in common? They're designed to overcome shortages in qualified labor and provide customer service. Okay? It's the way of the world. How come our industry has never really gotten into it? Yeah, Lewis saw that, and he put that together. So, I'm going to talk about a handful of our competition, and I'm not trying to badmouth them. I'm just saying, where does our product fit with the rest of the world in our industry? Okay, we are the only one, by the way, that Internet of Things, IoT, that's what our gateway is. It's an internet device, right? We are the only one that has that internet device. So where does it fit with the rest of the world? Okay, it is on this industry leading. That is the app right there. We're going to show you in depth. Winston's actually going to use and demonstrate it on some systems that are running. You're going to see it on the trailer outside. But I'm going to take a step back to what I started talking about a little bit ago. We didn't take a unit and stick a bunch of sensors on it. We built it from the ground up. Lewis's team, when he designed the system, built the sensors. 12 sensors? Six sensors. Well, some of them do double duty. So, so those sensors are integral into the unit, built into the unit itself. Again, the board, which is patented board, very simple board, by the way. I mean, as you've seen some of these inverter boards where there's 17,000 wires going from everywhere. Very, very simple board, just one board. That board reads those sensors, the data from the sensor. It transfers it to the gateway, right here. Okay. That data is transferred to the cloud. That cloud is accessed by the contractor in our tech support center. Okay. You as an installing contractor can take a look at the unit anytime you want. Okay. We're doing it through cellular, so there's no problem with the homeowner's Wi-Fi. How many of you have to go out and reset thermostats because they changed Wi-Fi providers? Or their Wi-Fi went down? Or renew set passwords? Don't have to worry about that. We're just sending directly to a cloud. Okay? This is the app. The reason I want to go over this is this is kind of like the easy button. I want to go with how easy it is to operate the app and why it's important to the homeowner itself. Homeowner, you know, why is that, what's important for that? So when you first walk up to the system, you guys have installed one over here. When you walk up to the system, either Apple or Android, you can download the app. And you put the installer puts the system, you guys put the system in, you hook up the line sets, pump it down, open the valves. The system has enough for charge for 25 feet of line set. Maybe you figure out that you've got 20 feet of line set, so there's a chart that'll tell you how much to remove, refrigerant to move, or if it's 50 feet, how much to add. Okay, you get that done, and you walk up to the system, it's ready to go, power's on, everything, and the first thing you do is you press add a unit. Okay, what that does is it will ask some questions, and then it will register the unit for the warranties. Okay? You don't have to go back to the office and register the warranties. Nobody has to do any paperwork. It automatically registers the system for warranties and assigns it into the tech center and assigns it to you. Okay? That's a big deal. By the way, when you go back to your office and you're talking to your boss, or if you have any of the bosses here, I'm going to hammer this a couple times. Please go on our website, ask here, we can get you help with that. Register with Trinity to be a certified dealer. There's no cost, they just got to register. If you don't register with Trinity, you're not tied into this, you don't get the warranty, and it's no big deal. You just got to push a couple buttons. So please register with Trinity. Okay? Yeah, the labor warranty. Yes, the labor warranty. Yeah, thanks for clarification. I'm really going to go take a couple little dives in this. I don't want to steal Winston's thunder on this, but this is the app. This happens to be a unit that's running. It was running on October 2nd of 2020 when I did a screenshot on this. You can see that this system at that particular time was putting out 20,953 BTUs when it was running. Okay, I can tell you that whether I'm sitting on a boat somewhere, or I'm sitting in front of the unit, or I'm sitting in Paris, France. It doesn't matter. I can tell you that system was running this right here. I can tell you that it happens to be shut off right here. That residual revenue, absolutely, yep. So let's say I want to take a look. That's fine and good. We can see what it's doing, but so what? I mean, it's kind of nice. But when you press the little drop-down menu here, and you can go into history data, okay, you can actually take a look at what the system is doing. Winston's going to show you that. I pushed superheat, subcool, ambient temperature, and compressor. This is 1 day's worth. Okay, so I chose 1 day, and this is what that system did that one particular day. If you take a look at this right here, this was in October. Yeah, this is Hawaii. We had a unit in Hawaii that's running, so you can see the ambient temperature up here. The contractor app, you can go back and take a look at it. As a contractor, you can go back 60 days and take a look at what that system did for the last 60 days, day by day, minute by minute. At our tech support center, we go back to the beginning of startup. So you got a homeowner that says, this system hasn't run right for the last 45 days. Right? It just won't cool. I want you to come take it out and put something else in. And they, well, wait a second, let's take a look at it. So you go in and maybe you take a look at the low pressure, the suction line pressure. Well, when's the last time you changed out your filter? It looks to me like day by day you've had some challenges with it. So that, oh, filter? So that's one of the things you can take a look at. It's one of many things you can take a look at and you can see. So that is peace of mind for the homeowner. You can tell the homeowner that we're going to be able to watch your system. Okay? Diagnostics, we talked about it a little bit here. Winston will go into it more, but this is one of the reasons why we got such a good rate of Trinity warranty. Because when you put it in auto charge mode, okay, the system will start up, it will clink around a little bit, it'll take some time, you'll see some things going on in the unit, but in about 7 minutes time-ish, the system will actually get itself running to optimal conditions. It may ask you to do a couple things here and there, like if the charge is too low or something like that, but it's trying to drive you to a certain superheat. Okay? When that happens, the system is running perfectly. Homeowner, you can tell the homeowner, there's no human error here. The system is going to tell me if it's running okay. Okay? That's peace of mind to the customer. All right. One last thing, where do we fit in the competition? When you're at the kitchen table and you're trying to compete against other brands, you're trying to take a look at, let's talk about price first. This is all relevant. I didn't put dollar amounts in here because it's all relevant. Oops, give away the secrets here. Train at XV19, we're about 37% better price than the Train. Lennox, you can see we work all the way up to, there's the green speed right there, 158% less than the Carrier green speed. Okay, that's all in good. Okay, you got a cheaper price. But who else of these people have the performance ratings that I showed you? Okay, the cold temperature, the cold climate, when you're at 7 degrees, we still have 100% heat. Who else has that? We're the only one. Who else at 9 to 21, we're still running? No one else. But here's something else. Thank you, Lewis. All of these, none of these have the IoT device. None of these have the gateway. None of these have the peace of mind. None of these have the 10-year warranty, labor warranty. Okay, none of them do. So when you're competing against somebody at the kitchen table, when you're trying to have that conversation of differentiation, keep this in mind. Yeah, we're here where, you know, the price difference between here and here is pretty substantial. But in reality, look at what you're getting. You're getting the IoT device, you're getting the technology behind it. So you end up with a higher technology, better comfort, better peace of mind, better labor at a price point that's very attractive. Okay? My last slide, one last thought. It's kind of my theme all along is that this is a powerful tool if used properly. You can increase your closing ratio, you can increase your GP, you can increase your customer retention with this product. Now is the time to go in there and get those customers, get your organization built for it, get your customers built for, attuned to it, because there will be a day when you will need that differentiation. Right now the differentiation is you've got the product. You will need this differentiation in about 2023 when the world starts opening back up with availability again. Keep that momentum going, and then you won't be fighting on price. That'll keep that GP up quite a bit. There's two other things that I'm sure Winston will be getting into that we have some advantages on. We can actually tie into an existing evaporative coil. You have a furnace. Let's say you got a furnace in the attic and a coil They've put some additions onto the house. There's no way you're going to get that evaporative coil out of that attic. We can actually tie, as long as it's not microchannel, we can actually tie into that existing coil. It's not going to be rated. You're not going to have ratings, HRI ratings, but we can actually tie that existing coil. So you could actually tie in. Yeah, TXV 410A. Yeah. And the other side of it is if you're converting into a heat pump from an AC, and you use our thermostat, and you've only got 2 wires going to the outdoor unit, everyone else you're going to have to pull a new wire, right? Okay, we can actually operate on, as long as you're using our stat, we can operate on 2 wires to the outdoor unit, converting from AC to heat pump. Okay, we're going to take a little break, and Winston's going to get set up here, and he'll dive into the nuts and bolts of how we do it.